My name's Troy Brown, and Jeff and I both live in Oklahoma. And this idea of WorldVentures came to us about 7.5 years ago. And when the company started, it was brand new. And here's what happened. My background is this. I had an anesthesia practice. That's what I did for a living. I put people to sleep, and I love doing that. I love doing anesthesia. I don't know that I love the whole process of the bureaucracy of the hospital, and I know everybody that has a job out there understands that's the way it goes in a job. And so I didn't enjoy that part, but I did enjoy doing anesthesia. And by most people's standards, and I'm not saying this to be braggadocious or anything, I made a lot of money compared to by most people's standards. And so that part of my life was good, and I learned how to make a lot of money, but what I hadn't learned to do in my life is make a life. And so I was going through the motions, everything looking good compared to everybody else, and then one day a friend of mine called me up out of the blue about 7.5 years ago, and he said these words to me. He said, "Troy, hey, I got something you got to see." And my response to him was, "Thanks, but no thanks." I blew him off, and not because I'm just that kind of guy. I blew him off because, and I know everybody hears this all the time, I was so busy, I had no room in my life for anything. And I mean I was busy. I had a 3-man operation there in that anesthesia practice. I'd been doing it with 2 of us for the past couple of years. The month that he called me, I lost my partner in that practice. So I was the anesthesia department in that hospital. So I had no time to do it, and I just said thanks but no thanks and ended up hanging up the phone, and I thought that was the end of it. But luckily for me, he called me back about 20 minutes later, and he goes, "Listen, I'm coming through your town. You can't find 20 minutes to sit down with me." And this is an old friend. And when he said that, I said, "You know what, you're right. Come on by, and I'll sit down." And when he came by, he showed me what you're getting ready to see. He showed me this thing called WorldVentures. And I want you to know, back then it didn't look like it looks like now. And he showed it to me with a piece of paper and a pen, and it didn't have all the moving parts that it has today, but something caught my attention. As he was going through that, he was talking about vacations and going on these things called dream trips, and he would talk about this trip, and he'd put down the price, and I would point at the paper and shake my head, and I really wasn't listening to anything he said, though. My mind was back at that hospital because I was so busy. I couldn't get my mind off of it. He went through the whole deal, got to the end, and he goes, "Troy," he said something that caught my attention, and here's what he said. He said, "Troy, I know you want to go on a vacation this year, don't you? You're going." And I said to him, and remember, I'm the guy that by most people's standards would make a lot of money. I said, I don't know. I don't know if I'm going on a vacation. Now, it wasn't because I didn't have the money. It was because I didn't have the time. And when he said that, it kind of caught me. Wow, I don't know if I'm going to get to go on vacation. And he said, "Well, if you go on vacation, would you rather go for wholesale or retail?" And I stopped there and I said, "Well, wholesale, but stop right there." I said, "Here's my problem with what you're saying." And I pointed to his paper, and he'd been putting these prices down about going for wholesale, and I pointed to that paper and I said, "I don't believe those prices." And when I said that, I really expected for he and I to start arguing. See, I said to him, I said, "I don't think you're lying to me." I said, "I think there's some hidden costs, hidden agendas that you don't know about because this is a brand new company." And I said to him, "You ever been on one of these dream trips?" And he said, "No." And then I said, "Well, do you know anybody who's been on one?" He said, "No." I said, "There's my problem right there." And so I expected for he and I to start arguing because he was so passionate about this idea, but that's not what he did. He goes, "Troy, that's fair." He goes, "That's a fair statement." He said, "Why don't you do this? Why don't you get involved with this travel?" He called it a travel club back then. Why don't you get involved with this travel club with me? Let's take our families. Let's go on one of these dream trips together. And if it doesn't work the way I'm saying, we'll both get out. There's no contract. I said, "No contract?" He said, "No." I said, "What's it cost to get in?" My cell phone was sitting right beside me. He picked up my cell phone, and he said, "You can get in for less than the cost of this phone." And I said to him right then, "I'm in." And I'd love to tell you I got in because I'm such a smart businessman, and I just made this great decision back 7.5 years ago, but that's not what happened. I got in because it was less than the cost of my phone, and I thought for that price I could get my friend off my back. And that's why I really got in WorldVentures. And here's what happened from there. I went to the OR, back to the hospital after that meeting, did my work that day, didn't think about WorldVentures again at all, went home that evening, and when I got to the house, my wife Kathy was sitting there, and when I walked in the room, she goes, "Hey, what did he want?" And I said, "He wanted me to get in this travel club thing." I didn't even know what to call it. She goes, "Well, did you get in?" I said, "Well, yeah, I did." And I kind of didn't really want to talk to her about it. She goes, "Well, are we going on vacation?" And I kind of laughed and said, well, I guess we can. She goes, well, how do you know where you go? And so I gave her this website he gave me, and she started looking at all these sites, and she was going through it. It was like, ooh and on. Right then I knew I was going on vacation. So I go on one of these dream trips, and here's what happened. Exactly what my friend said would happen. See, here's what he said. He said, Troy, you're going to go for wholesale instead of retail, and you're going to save some money. I did that. I've been on that same trip before WorldVentures, and I paid about 1/3 the cost with WorldVentures that I paid before. That was a great deal. I was excited about that. But he also said, you're going to have a better experience when you're on this trip. Now, I didn't believe that part. How are you going to have a better experience at the same vacation you've been on before? Well, here's how. WorldVentures, and this is what you'll find out, WorldVentures specializes in leisure travel, fun. That's what they do. So when you get there, there's a host. The host takes care of you, and then you got these special this and special that because you're wearing that armband that WorldVentures puts on you. And see, that's another thing. I didn't want to wear the stupid armband, and I told my wife I'm not wearing a stupid armband. Well, then when we got to the room from that first trip, we went out to the pool to get started with our vacation, and guess what? I saw all these people having all this fun around the pool, and I noticed every group that was having all the fun had this armband on. So I ran back to the room, put my armband on, got with the group, and I started having fun. And they sucked me into this culture of fun. And I had the greatest time that week. I'm just telling you, it was unbelievable. My wife and I went through the whole week, but about Friday, Saturday, I started thinking, wow, I'm going to go back to work. And I know that's what you guys do a lot, too, when you're on vacations. It's like at the end of it, you're like, dang, I got to go back to work. See, and I love doing what I was doing, but it's still that going back. And so I get on the plane. I'm going back to the OR. It's 7 o'clock in the morning when I get up the next morning to go to the OR, and I get in the OR, and if you've never been in an OR, there's about 10 people running around in there, and I put the first patient to sleep. This is after that first dream trip, and put him to sleep, and there's about 10 people running around, and here's what changed everything for me. Everything changed at this point. Somebody in that OR turned to me, and they asked me this question. Hey, Troy, how was your vacation? And see, they ask me that every time. And if you think about your vacations, they ask you too. Travel is just one of those things we talk about. It's fun to talk about. And when they ask, usually I just mumble, oh, it was great. You know, that's what I usually do. But here's what happened that day. And I promise you this was not premeditated when they asked me. I wasn't even thinking about WorldVentures. I was back in the OR. But when they said, hey, Troy, how was your vacation? Somehow right then I became the national spokesperson for WorldVentures. I just started blurting out everything. I told them about the host. I told them about the parties. I even told them about that stupid armband that I didn't want to wear. I told them about everything. And I said this, you're not going to believe what I paid for this. And when I said that, everybody in the OR started listening. And I said the price, and some of them in the back said, how'd you do that? How'd you get that price? And because I was the national spokesperson, I was like, WorldVentures. I was telling them all about it. Here's what I realized that day. See, when I said that, those nurses, I remember in the back, there was about 3 of them standing there. They pointed at me and looked me right in the eye, and they said, really? You went for that price and you didn't pay anything extra and you didn't have any hidden costs or hidden agendas? You didn't have to step through anything to get that price? I was like, no, I'm telling you, that's what I did. And they said, can we do that too? And they got involved with me right there. And see, here's what I realized. This is the most important, maybe the most important thing I say to you tonight. I realized something about travel right then. Travel is an inherent yes product. I didn't have to convince those people in that OR that day that they wanted to go. See, if you don't believe me, let me just ask everybody out there a question. If you've got kids, do we have to convince your kids they want to go to Disney World? It's an inherent yes. And most grown-ups will say the same thing, yes. Some grown-ups will not say yes, and let me tell you why. They've been conditioned in their life that they can't go. See, I was one of those guys. I didn't have time. See, so I was like, I don't really want to go because I don't have time. Listen, if time and money weren't the problem, would you go on more vacations? I got to think it's yes. And so that's where I got excited about that. And so I just want to show you what these dream trips are all about. See, I went on that first one, and we did about 700 dream trips last year alone. We'll do about that many this year, all over the world, all kinds of trips that you can take. I want to show you guys a couple of things about these trips because, see, when my friend was saying wholesale, I was getting this word picture in my mind about wholesale, but it wasn't wholesale. It was cheap. It was going to look cheap and smell cheap. Well, we got these trips all over the world, all kinds of trips. And here's the other thing. See, when we started going on these in the first couple of years, we would start shooting videos of each other and to our friends saying, you should come along. And we started saying, you should be here. And that tagline kind of went viral. I just want to show you some pictures of some of the dream trips and people. Here's some people on my team in Disney World, for example, and you know this is big if Mickey's holding the sign saying you should be here. And that sign, that blue sign that you're looking at right there, it has gone viral, and I'll prove that to you here as we go along. You know, people that are going on vacations. Here's somebody underwater with the "You Should Be Here" sign. Here's my wife on the left. That's my wife, and one of our friends on the right. That's in Bora Bora. The "You Should Be Here" sign again. And you can see, I'm just going to click through some of these. The sign is going to show up everywhere. Now that you've seen it, you're going to see it everywhere. And it happened like organically. It wasn't something a marketing team thought up. It wasn't something we decided we were going to do. It just started happening. This blue sign started showing up, and it's just been just incredible. There's somebody there on a camel on a dream trip. You know, here we are, and there's the Mardi Gras. We got all kinds of dream trips that you can think of. Here's me and some of my friends on a ski trip that we did this year. That's me in the middle with the loud-looking jacket there. That's me and my buddy Jeff just to the side of me there. In Rome, here's one of our newest IMDs. That's the top level of company, Lorenzo Roybal. He's 24 years old, top level of company. Right there, you can see him in Rome on one of his dream trips. Here's a friend of mine going on a balloon ride, going and looking at the leaves changing out east. Here's just a cool picture of that balloon ride. If you're seeing that, you can see the "You Should Be Here" sign again. And again, just all over, people surfing the "You Should Be Here" sign. We're in 23 countries around the world. You can see there, so here we are in Asia, some of the people in Asia with the "You Should Be Here" sign. All different kinds of sports activities. Here's one of my buddies at Daytona 500. Again, "You Should Be Here" sign. These are all dream trips. And again, just show you how viral it is. Here's a picture of Tiger Woods, the PGA, and if you look in the back, right there in the back, over his shoulder, you see that arrow pointing at the "You Should Be Here" sign. That was taken off TV there. "You Should Be Here" sign there. I was watching TV one day, watching the Tour de France. That guy holding the TV, the sign right there, I didn't even know he was in France. This is a guy I actually put in the business. His name's Randy Bowles. There he is with the "You Should Be Here" sign on TV. I was watching the Super Bowl. Hey, watching the Super Bowl this year. Went to ESPN, and look right there in the middle. "You Should Be Here" sign. Again, guys, it's just everywhere. You're going to start noticing it. Here's the Duck Dynasty guys with the "You Should Be Here" sign. I'll just flip through some of these quick. Here's Jason Aldean, the "You Should Be Here" sign. Here's Willie Nelson. I don't know if it's keeping up with you, but you'll see these pictures. Willie Nelson right there. Here's Bill Cosby. Some people sitting with Bill Cosby with the "You Should Be Here" sign. Here's Terry Bradshaw, the "You Should Be Here" sign, and Carrot Top. And I think you're getting the point. SpongeBob. And you know when it's really big? You know when you've really hit it? When people start putting up graffiti of your sign. And there's some graffiti on there "You Should Be Here" sign right there. It's just, you know, you've really hit it there. And there's the Cadillac Ranch in Amarillo, Texas. There we are on the one of the cars there. It's all over. So that's what a dream trip. We just have all kinds of dream trips. But here's the thing. I remember I usually show a video of a dream trip right about now so you can see, and it's a fun video with about 3,000 people on it, of people involved in WorldVentures in a Cancun video, and it's fun and exciting and all that. I remember I showed that video to my dad, and when I got done with that, I said to my dad, I said, "Dad, wasn't that cool?" And here's what my dad said: No, it's not cool. I said, "What do you mean?" He goes, "Well, I don't want to go, I don't like the beach." And I said, "Dad, forget the beach. Forget the beach. Wouldn't that be cool?" And again, he said, "No." I said, "Why not?" He goes, "I don't want to go with 3,000 people." And I said, "Dad, forget the beach. Forget 3,000 people. Where do you want to go?" And he said, "Well, if I was going to go somewhere," and my dad's never traveled, he goes, "If I was going to go somewhere, where I'd like to go is Alaska." I said, "Dad, we got dream trips to Alaska. Let's go." So I booked a dream trip for my mom, my dad, my son, my wife, me. We went on a dream trip to Alaska, and I want to show you some pictures from that just to make a point. See, this is Alaska, that trip that I took my mom and dad, my son. That's my son there by me. That's me and my son. This is in Glacier Bay. My dad's sitting there, my mom's sitting there, my wife's sitting there. There's not 3,000 people there. There's not a beach there. And we're watching that glacier in the background back there. We're just watching it do what they call calve. When the ice breaks off and it falls into the ocean, it makes this rumble. It's majestic when it happens. And I watched my dad's face as that was happening, and I could tell, man, I got it. He's all excited about this now. And so we sat there, and I said, Dad, this is pretty cool, isn't it? And he goes, yeah, I got to admit, this is pretty cool. And so I said, Dad, now that we're here, now that we're in Alaska, what's the one thing you want to do? And he goes, Troy, I want to get as high as I can. Get up as high as I can so I can see as much of this land as I can at once, because I've just heard it's this majestic, big, open space. I said, we'll do that tomorrow. So the next day, I took my mom, my dad, my wife, my son, and we went on these helicopters. And this next picture you're seeing, that's my mom and dad. That's my dad right there being excited out of his skin, okay? That's him sitting there. And we're getting ready to go on these helicopters. He got on that helicopter right behind him. That one to the left there, my wife and son and I got on, and we just flew around the mountains of Alaska just looking at everything. And I could talk to my dad on the headphones, and I said to my dad, Dad, what do you want to do now that we're up here? And he said, Troy, I want to get as close to one of those glaciers that we were looking at yesterday, because the colors were incredible. If you've never seen a glacier up close, they got these blues, these colors in them that are incredible. He goes, I want to see that up close. So what we did was, we had them land on the glacier. This is me and my family sitting on the glacier. Here's what I want to make a point to some of you. There's not 3,000 people there. See, a dream trip is a dream trip. It's what you want it to be. And so my dad's dream trip was this. He wanted to see Alaska, and he didn't want to go with 3,000 people. There it is. See, let me tell you why that picture right there sums it up for me. Peak life experiences. See, that's what life's all about. Peak life experiences, and that I can just say this. Look at my dad. He's got a smile there. My dad's not one to do that very often, but look at my dad. You think he'll ever forget that? Look at my son down there at the bottom. My son will never forget that. See, you probably don't know what you got for your 10th birthday, your 11th Christmas, but I promise you, if you're like me, you know every vacation you ever went on with mom and dad. And that's a peak life experience. So I just want to show you that. I'll show you some other dream trips I've been on. Here's Santorini, Greece, my wife and I. That's Santorini. Here's Russia, Moscow. And I always say, I don't know if Russia's your dream spot, but those hats are pretty cool, right? Those are pretty cool. Here's Bora Bora. Bora Bora with some of my friends, again, not 3,000 people there, but in Bora Bora with the glass bottom huts, looking at the fish every night through our glass bottoms. This was a peak life experience. Here I am in New York City with my wife, just hanging out on a dream trip. Here's a hunting and fishing trip. If you have any hunting and fishing guys out there, we got a lot of that kind of stuff. Here I am swimming with a shark. I just like that picture, so I throw it in there. Listen, we do dream trips all over the world, Europe and Asia and Hawaii and Caribbean and Mexico and the Mediterranean and Disney. Spa trips. We do all kinds of spa trips. My wife just led a spa trip with a bunch of women that went out to California and went on this unbelievable spa trip. We have all kinds of those kind of things. Ski trips that you saw. I just did one this last year with a bunch of my buddies. African safaris. We do all kinds of sporting events. I've done the Masters. I went to the Kentucky Derby this year. We do the BCS Bowls. We do the Super Bowl. We do most of the big sporting events. It's unbelievable. Great way to go watch sports. And then we also have these kind of trips called volunteerism trips. And see, here's the cool thing, and I believe this about most of you on this phone tonight, because I've got to know the hearts of Jake and Chris and the guys over there at Numis, and I believe that you guys have the same values we have. And so WorldVentures we've done really well in the last 7.5 years, and the company's made some money, the people have made some money, and so people started wanting to give back. And so we started this foundation called the WorldVentures Foundation. To date, we've built about 31 schools in Guatemala. We've done some orphanages in Ecuador, Mexico. We've done right here in the States with Big Brothers, Big Sisters, and Boys and Girls Club of America. We're doing unbelievable things. This program's getting a lot of attention, so much attention that, in fact, Oprah put us in her magazine for this in September of this last year. So we're getting a lot of attention. It's a really cool thing. A lot of people love this. So that's that part too. So here's what you're wanting to know. You're looking at this thing for the first time. You're saying, okay, I get it. You're doing trips. You're doing them at wholesale. But here's what you want to know now. How's it all work? How are you getting them at wholesale instead of retail? Here's how we're doing it. This company called WorldVentures, the one that we're talking about tonight, which, by the way, is based out of Plano, Texas, which is the Dallas area. We got a 38,000 square foot office building. We got over 200 employees now. Our two co-founders, Mike and Wayne, were up for 2010 Entrepreneur of the Year with Ernst & Young. Again, we're doing really well. We did just under $150 million last year, and we're doing really well. And so we got this staple product called Dream Trips that I just talked to you about. And so our staple product is Dream Trips, and here's how it works. See, people want to know how we're getting the prices we're getting, and I'll show you some prices here in a little bit, but here's how it works. I know most of you who are on this phone tonight, you're members of Sam's and Costco, the buying clubs. And here's why I know most of you are members. Between the two of them, there's over 100 million members, so that's a lot of us. And so why are we members? Why do I pay a membership, and why do you pay a membership? Because you and I believe that if we're going to go buy some kind of product, we think we can get that product cheaper at Sam's and Costco if we're members. And that's why we're members. And here's how they're getting those products cheaper. Let's say it's bottled water, for example. They're buying, you want to go buy bottled water today. Well, you can get that bottled water most of the time cheaper at Sam's and Costco than anywhere else, and here's why. Sam's and Costco leverage their 100 million members. And what I mean by that, when they go buy that water, they buy it in bulk. That's business 101. You buy in bulk, you get a better price, right? Well, they're buying in bulk, leveraging 100 million people. When they go in and they say, hey, we'll take 10 warehouses of water, do you think they get a better price on that water than somebody that says, I'll take a case of that water? Absolutely, they get a better price. And if you're a businessman or woman out there, you're already thinking ahead of me and you're saying, well, yeah, that's true, but there's other stores out there besides Sam's and Costco that buy that water in bulk. And I give that to you. Across the street from every Sam's in the world, there's another store called Walmart. Do you think Walmart buys that same water in bulk? Sure they do. Let's say they buy the same 10 warehouses. They get the same exact price. But here's where the difference happens. Now, Sam's and Walmart start selling that differently. What I mean by that is Walmart has nothing to leverage. See, you didn't pay a membership to go to Walmart last year, did you? But here ought to be your first clue that this all works. 100 million of you crossed the street to go buy the same products across the street, and you paid to go across there in Sam's. So it must be working, and here's why it's working. Sam's buys that water, or Walmart buys that water. When they get that discount price, they now have to take that bottle of water and they have to figure out how much margin can they get out of that water. How much can they upsell it? And they upsell it as high as they can so that you'll still come and buy it, and they make a big margin. That's their power. Margins is their power. Across the street at Sam's, that's not the case. See, margin isn't the power over here. What they do at Sam's is they take that discount price and they take the people they leverage to get that, that's you and me, and they pass that price on to the people they leverage, the 100 million members. So the 100 million members get a better price on that water, and why would they do that? So that those 100 million members will tell everybody they know, hey, the water's cheaper across the street. And then those people they tell, what are they going to do? They become members of Sam's. The power at Sam's is membership. The power at Walmart is margin. I'm going to ask you a simple question here. Which one of those powers just give you the better price on your water? Membership. Well, let me just ask you another simple question. Wouldn't you like to use that power to go on vacation? That's what we do. See, last year we did 700 trips all over the world where members of WorldVentures went for a better price and had a better experience because we used that power. And that's simply what we're doing. And with that power, I'm just going to show you some things here. Every single month, for example, WorldVentures puts out a cruise every single month, and it lives from different ports and different cruise lines and all that kind of stuff, but that cruise is $69. That's the deal, plus port fees and taxes. But here's the thing. I think the last one I went on was $149 total. That's port fees, taxes, everything. And if you've been on a cruise, you know they feed you. It's like a floating buffet. That's all included in that deal, too. $199 all inclusive to Mexico. By the way, that's taxes and fees included. Okay, everything included there. Just to show you some, I'm going to show you a couple of trips here. Here's Jamaica, Ocho Rios for 4 days and 3 nights at a 5-star hotel resort there, all inclusive, food, drinks, transfers, fees, taxes, everything included for $349. Here's the thing, kids on that trip, and I went on that trip right there. You can see it's 4 days and 3 nights. By the way, we'll do a lot of 4-day, 3 nights so people with jobs can use our membership more. We do all different lengths, but we'll do a lot of 4 days, 3 nights for you for that reason. $349, kids went for $47. Now let me ask you something. If you got a family of 5 with 3 kids, you think that family of 5 with 3 kids can go on an all-inclusive trip where they're paying $47 a head for the kid? Or is that more affordable and you think they can create more peak life experiences that way? That's what this is all about. Okay, here's another one. South Beach, Miami. 4 days and 3 nights on this one too. Bentley Hotel, named the best boutique hotel in all of Florida. Junior suite, you're getting $200 of credit. Spa, 100 spa credit, 100 room credit. You're going for a total of $335. That's taxes, fees, and everything included. No more charge on that. If you're getting $200 credit, you're going for $335 for 4 days. You're really going for $135 on this, the way I do my math. Here's the best price. Now, I just want to show you a comparison. We had our experts, the people in the travel department, go find the best price they could find on that same apples-to-apples trip. Same night, same rooms, same everything. Not apples to oranges, same apples to apples. Their best price was Travelocity. The best price we could find, $1349 was the best price. That's a $900 savings. By the way, you didn't get $200 of credit with them on that. You got $200 of credit, and if you remember, ours was $335. Theirs, $1349. That's right at $900 in savings, and this is where this became a no-brainer to me. If my friend was telling me the truth, that it costs less than the cost of my cell phone to get into this thing, and I saved almost $900 on my first transaction with this company called WorldVentures, I'm ahead of the game right there. It's a no-brainer. Let me just show you some other trips. Just Crested Butte, 6 days and 5 nights, brand new lodge, 3 days of lift tickets included, kids under 12 are free, taxes, everything done for $750. Here's the best price we can find on that one. Same apples-to-apples deal. Same lodge, same day, same everything. They didn't throw in 3 days worth of lift tickets. We did. Their price was $27.81. Again, we're saving you almost $1,300 on that one. Here's another one. Palm Springs, 5 days and 4 nights at the Westin. My wife took a bunch of women this year up to the spa in the Westin on a dream trip. They went for $314. They actually got $150 resort credit on that one, and kids under 12 free. Guys, that's a great 5 days and 4 nights for $314 with $150 of resort credit. Great prices. Here's the best price we could find. Expedia had it for $1225. We saved you $700 on that one. I just want to tell you, I could play this savings game with you all night long because we did 700 of these trips last year. I'm not going to do that with you. I just want to show you some other cool trips. Here's one I've been on. I went to Mykonos, Greece. If you've never been there, it's an island in Greece for 8 days and 7 nights for $587 per person. That is taxes, fees, everything. Can you imagine 8 days on an island in Greece and getting breakfast every day, included all that kind of stuff for $587? Here's Spain. This one's ridiculous. I just like to show it because it is ridiculous. Spain for 5 days and 4 nights, a 4-star hotel, getting breakfast at a buffet every day, included taxes, everything included, $125. I don't know where you live. I live in Oklahoma City area. Folks, I can't stay in Oklahoma City for 5 days for $125. I'm sure it's the same for you. Here's Paris, France for 4 days and 3 nights for $339. You're getting here's a bigger one, Tour China, 10 days, 9 nights. Getting round-trip airfare included that to Beijing. An English guide with you all the time. Most of your meals included there. Seeing all the cool things. $24.80. That's a $1,400 savings on that trip. And then let me show you some other kind of trips. And again, if you don't hunt and fish, I understand it's not your deal, but realize this. You know people who hunt and fish. Going on a turkey hunt, that's food, lodging, everything for half price, $650. Here's a whitetail hunt for 8 days and 7 nights for $1,350. I agree. If you don't hunt and fish, you don't get these. That's a $1,900 savings. That's lodging, everything on that one. 8 days. South Dakota pheasant hunt. I went on this one. $439. All in everything. Food, lodging, everything for $439. Here's a fishing trip I went on. I think you're getting the point. I just want to tell you, Dream Trips has been our staple product. In the first 5 years, we went from zero to almost $100 million our 5th year in business. Our 6th year in business, almost 150. We're on track right now to do somewhere between 2 and 250 is what's going on right now. That's been our staple product. But about a year and a half ago, we added to the staple product to give more value to our members. See, this is Dream Trips. This is what we've done, but we added to it, and we have this product called Dream Trips Life Now. And let me just explain what that means. It's real simple. We just added some more value to the product, and we didn't add anything to the cost. So now you get this. You get the Dream Trips. I just showed you that. But on top of that, you're going to get your own Rovia booking engine. WorldVentures has their own booking engine called Rovia. Rovia is kind of like an Expedia or Orbitz or something like that, but there's some advantages for us owning that. And I'll just show you. You're going to get your own booking engine, and here's how I book it. If I'm going on vacation, where I'm going to save the money is through Dream Trips. That's where I'm going to do well. But if I'm going to, I just got back from from Boston. Let's say I was going to Boston just for some business or something. I still need a flight. I might need a rental car. I need a hotel. That kind of travel, I'll get on my own booking engine called Rovia. I used to get it through Expedia, Orbitz, Cheap Tickets, Hotwire, but here's why I do it through Rovia now. I own it, basically. I don't really own it. WorldVentures does, but I'm part of the deal. So I buy from me. Now, here's why I buy from me. We have some technology called Rate Shrinker. If I book a flight for $300, say, to Boston, when I book it through WorldVentures and Rovia, that Rate Shrinker technology keeps looking at that price, and if it ever goes down, because you know prices change in travel, if it ever goes down, they rebook it for me, same itinerary, send me the difference. That's a cool technology. Here's the other thing. If I book a hotel, for example, you know somebody's making a commission off all these bookings you're doing. Well, that's somebody in this case, because we own the technology, is called WorldVentures and Rovia. WorldVentures makes a commission off that booking, and because it was booked off of your site, which they'll know it's your site, you get a piece of that back in the form of what we call Rovia bucks. You get these dollars credited to a, let's just call it a virtual piggy bank. Those dollars go right into your account, and when you go on a trip, guess what you get to do with those dollars? Use them to pay for your trip, or all of your trip if you got that much in there. So you're going to get something back on that. Here's what your website will look like that WorldVentures sets up for you. And if you see in the bottom left-hand corner, it says Search Travel. That's where I book the Rovia type search. But right in the middle where it says Dream Trips, that's where I can book those trips I showed you earlier. And then on the right, we have some homes, villas, and condos. You can book those there. You get a cool website that's a turnkey business for you at that point in time. On top of that, with the Dream Trips Life, we added the 24/7 concierge service that you're going to have. So you're going to have a number that you can dial and have an assistant 24/7. Do anything you need on that. We also have homes, villas, and condos around the world that we're getting at great prices because, again, we're leveraging each other on that. On top of that, we have a national network of things that you do every day. I don't know about you, but today I went out and ate. Why not get something back on that? WorldVentures has a network put together where we're getting discounts on places like that, or going to the entertainment. I'm going to go take my 5-year-old son to go see that new movie, Turbo. I'm going to get a discount on that. Going to get my car worked on, get my hair cut, whatever I need to do, everyday stuff, WorldVentures has a network put together where we can get discounts on that. So they added that into the Dream Trips Life package. And then one last thing. They had a thing called Dream Trips Mall, where we're doing business with lots and lots of stores, name brand stores that you know, stores like this. You can see these stores all over. Name brand stores that we're doing business with, and because you're part of the network with WorldVentures, you're going to get automatic discounts and rebates through those stores. It's a great way to shop, and I'm doing all this on a computer that I bought through this deal. I bought this computer that I'm running this whole presentation with through one of these stores right here. And it was as good a price as I could find anywhere, and I got a $90 rebate back because I bought it through here. That was cool. I don't know about you, but in this economy, would you take $90 if it was there? And do you know anybody else that would? That's what I'm excited about that. All that stuff in the Dream Trips Life column either saves money or makes money for members like you and I. And I'll ask you this question again. In this economy, do you think there's anybody out there looking at ways to save money or make money in this economy? And so that's why I think this is great, and here's why else I think it's great. They added all that value to a company that was already doing around $100 million without all that value I just showed you, and they added nothing to the price. The price rate remained the same. And here's the price. One-time fee of $200. You never paid again. You are a lifetime member for $200. And I'm a kind of a skeptic by nature, and when my friend said this next part, I thought I had a gotcha on him. He said $200 to one-time fee, you never paid again, and then $55 a month to maintain it. And I said to my friend, gotcha. He goes, what do you mean gotcha? I said, people don't like to pay monthlies. And I said, that's the way I am. I don't like to pay a monthly. I don't like to pay my electric bill. And I told him, and he goes, okay, but play along with me. If you paid $200 and then you paid the $55 a month, and all that stuff I just shared with you, Troy, was true, would you be ahead? And I said, yeah, that's not the point. He goes, well, listen, I'm going to show you something here in a second. If you want to, I can show you how to get rid of that $55. And I said, okay, now you're talking. And I'm going to show you guys here in a second how to get rid of that $55 if you want to a month, okay? So $200, $55 a month, or we can get rid of the monthly bit. And that's the way we've been doing it forever. But here's what I'm going to show you. This last year, WorldVentures came out with a program that whether you get rid of the $55 or not, you still win. Let me show you what I mean. See, here's the new program. You pay $200 a month or $200 one time to get in this thing called WorldVentures, and what happens is that $200 goes to WorldVentures, and now you're a member. And that used to be the end of the story right then. And we did $100 million with that. Now that $200 with this new program called the Rewards Program, that $200 you just paid to get in, they now take that $200 and put it into that virtual piggy bank I was talking about earlier. So everybody that gets in, it's not really a piggy bank at the company, but let's just call it that. Your money gets put in an account. That $200 goes to your account, the piggy bank, and that $200 is dollar for dollar. And when you want to go on a dream trip, immediately, you get in today, immediately you can go on a dream trip and use every one of those $200 on that dream trip. So that's if you're looking at this right now and you just got in and you paid $200, how much did it really cost you? In my mind, nothing, because I got that money back to go take a trip on a trip I want to do anyway. An inherent yes product called travel. Now you're saying, okay, what about the monthly? Well, let's say you have to pay the monthly. Remember, I'm going to show you how to get rid of it. But if you have to pay the monthly every month, that $55 that you're paying goes to WorldVentures. There, in turn, that $55 goes right back into your travel piggy bank, and those dollars, you don't get to use them immediately, but at your year anniversary, you can book a dream trip and you use every one of those dollars, dollar for dollar. And it's not like funny math. $1 equals $1. So you're not paying, 200 trip points will get you nothing. This is $200. That's $55. So you got it. Again, how much does it cost to get started so far? Really nothing. So what you're really doing is paying once and getting to use that money twice. You're getting to use it to get in the membership, number one. And number two, you get to use that money again to go on a trip. That's a great way to travel, I believe. So that's our product called Dream Trips Life. Now, let's get to the last part. We're almost done here. Dream Trips Life is our product. That day in the OR when I walked in and they asked me, how'd you do that? Can we do that? The answer was yes, they could do it. Because see this next part in the right-hand column? I am a rep of WorldVentures. I have a representative business system that I got through WorldVentures. I have a home-based business, if you will. And when those people ask if they could go on a trip like I did for the same price, I could say yes, because I could sell them the product called Dream Trips Life that lets them do that. See, they got to be a member to get those things. Now, here's the thing. When I sell a product to somebody like that, I made a small commission. I want you to know right up front, I didn't get rich off of that. I sold it to 7 people that day in the OR. I promise you I didn't get rich off of that. But here's what happened. Let's say you get involved today after seeing this thing, and you got 2 friends that you tell it to, and you tell them about travel, and again, travel's inherent, yes, and they say, well, let's go see if it works. That's kind of what I did. And they go and see, well, let's say it's Bob and Tom. When you sell that product to Bob and Tom, you make a commission. Now, here's the part I want you to catch. Do Bob and Tom know people you don't know? The answer is yes. And if Bob and Tom find out that they can really go on these trips for wholesale instead of retail and have the experiences I've had in the last 7.5 years, do you think they're going to tell anybody about it? The answer, again, is yes. And when they tell those people, Bob and Tom will make a commission off of that. But because you kicked the first domino and got the ball rolling, you're going to override a piece of that. Did you hear what just happened? You're going to override a piece of what Bob and Tom just did. That's called residual income. See, this is what went over my head in the beginning. I'll say it again. By most people's standards, I made a lot of money, but I had no life. You know why? I knew nothing about leverage. All I knew about was trading my time for dollars. Now I'm talking about leverage. I'm talking about while I was in the OR, blue checks from WorldVentures started coming in because I had Bob and Tom talking about it. I had somebody else talking about it, and I was overriding those efforts. And some of you on this phone may be saying to yourself, well, wait a minute. Should we really make income off the efforts of other people? Let's just get real with each other. If you have a job, if you work of some kind and you make money, somebody overrides your efforts every single day. And I'll just give you an example. In the OR, did anybody else make money off the efforts of me putting somebody to sleep? The surgeon made money. The hospital made money. The pharmaceutical company made money. And I made money. It's the same thing here. We're going to override each other off doing this thing called WorldVentures. Okay? But it's an inherent yes thing called travel, and people want to do it. We don't have to convince them. We've just got to show them. Okay? So here's the thing. I'm talking about residual income, and here's what happened to me, and I'm not saying this. I don't want to impress anybody. I'm just here to impress upon you. When I got started, I got about 7 people involved. Those people knew people who knew people who knew people. Today, my team is well over 100,000 people, and I override what happens in that group. as a result. And my results aren't typical. And by the way, there's an income disclosure statement on the front of the World Ventures page. You don't even have to have a page. You can go to worldventures.biz. Very bottom, there's an income disclosure statement. Don't click that. But here's the thing. My results aren't typical, but they're possible. And within a year, within 6 months, I was making quite a bit of money in World Ventures. Within a year and a half, I retired from anesthesia because of the income I was making here. Here's what happened. See, I was the guy, I said this, I promise you, I said, I don't care if I make $1 million with World Ventures, I'll never retire from anesthesia. Well, here's what I'll tell you guys, things change. Here's what changed in my life. My 5th year in this business, my wife and I adopted a baby boy. His name's Trig. You guys saw a picture of him earlier. We adopted him 5 years ago. I was making enough money with World Ventures at that point that I could say, you know what, I really want to raise this kid. I really want to be around the important things. I really, on a Tuesday at 10:30 a.m., I'd rather be swinging on the swing set with him than putting somebody to sleep. So for the last 5.5 years, I've been retired from anesthesia. I retired in my early 40s. Guys, I don't know where else I could have done that. I'm just being real with you. That's what I love about this type of opportunity and travel, man. It's travel. It's what we want to do. So here's how the money works, just to kind of break it down simply for you. This is a 2-team system. It's called a binary. That means you're going to have a marketing team that if you choose to, by the way, you can just do the business or the travel. You don't have to do the business if you don't want to. You do the travel or you can do the business or you can do the both. Okay? I'm going to just show you how the business works here. Let's say you get in, you know Bob and Tom. You have a left team and a right team, computer tracks it all. I have a turnkey business at this point in time when you're in. Bob comes in, your friend Bob, put him on your left team. Tom comes in, put him on your right team. If Bob makes a sale to somebody of this product, it goes on your left team. If Tom makes a sale, it goes on the right team. Anytime 3 sales come left, 3 sales come right, whether you make them or somebody else makes them, World Ventures will send you a check the next week for those sales. 3 and 3 match up to send you a check. That check will be $100 every time that happens that week, and you get the check the next week. By the way, your first 60 days after you get in World Ventures, it will not be $100 for that 3 and 3. It will be $200. Now, here's the point. Most people miss this. You're already leveraging and you don't even know it. What do I mean by that? You got 6 people talking about travel out there. Can 6 people talk about travel faster than you could by yourself? As a result, can this happen faster and faster? Yes, it can. One day you'll wake up, you'll have 30 on your left team, 30 on your right. If you do this thing, you can. If you're doing this thing, what happens at that point, you've made cycle bonuses all the way up there. By the way, did you put all 60 of those people in, 30 on your left, 30 on your right? No, you and your team did. Again, leverage. You may have put 4 in, you may have put 6 in, you may have put 10 in. Your team has put a total of 60 in. You've leveraged all 60 of those sales. Now, by doing that, not only are you making cycle bonuses, you're going to start making, on the 15th of the month, you're going to start earning a residual bonus check every month based off old sales, not new. So how many old sales are sitting there? 60. So you're still making money off new sales, but now you're going to get on the 15th of the month a check based on those old sales. So on the 15th of this month, I get paid. On the 15th of the next month, I get paid. For old sales that happen today in World Ventures, I still get paid on sales that happened 6, 7 years ago. Now think of what I just said. By comparison, I put a lot of people to sleep 7 years ago. Guess how much money I get paid for that today? Nothing. That's why I love this. Leverage. I was looking for residual income. I was looking for a way to jump off the hamster wheel. And again, it's happened. Now, the average check at 30 and 30, that level is an extra $200 to $500 a month. I realize that's not retirement money for most people on this deal, but let me ask you a question. Who do you know that take an extra $200 to $500 a month coming in month after month after month based off travel, based off this thing called World Ventures? That's exactly. And so here's the thing. At some point in time, that group will get bigger and bigger. That money will get bigger and bigger. At 90 and 90, you're called the director with our company. The average residual check on the 15th of the month of everybody at that level called director, their average check is right around $1,500 a month. Now, who do you know that that could change their life? $1,500 a month. Again, results not typical, but possible. I got lots and lots of people on my team doing that and more right now. And as the numbers get bigger, that number gets bigger. So that's the business part. That business cost $100 one time to set up. Think about that. You can't set up a lemonade stand for $100. That $100 business replaced my anesthesia practice in a year and a half. Okay? $11 to maintain it, but we can get rid of that $11 too. $11 a month to maintain it, but we can get rid of that. So let me just show you. Residual income, that's what I was after, to get my time back. Here's the one of the last slides I just want to tell you. If you're sitting here thinking you missed the boat because WorldVentures is 7.5 years old, you couldn't be more wrong. The boat hadn't even started up yet. This is the largest industry in the world, called travel. $8 trillion and getting bigger. And the boat of WorldVentures has not even started yet. Yeah, we did right around $150 million last year. We're having record sales. Yesterday, I think it was yesterday, our biggest sales day in the history of WorldVentures. It's happening. It's blowing up. So travel is the big, big industry, but this company's young enough that everybody you know doesn't know about it yet. But it's old enough, you don't have to start it up. How cool a place is that to be in the marketplace? In a market that's just getting bigger and bigger. See, here's one of the reasons it's getting so big. A group of you called the baby boomers. If you're born between 46 and 64, that's you. You're the largest economic force in the history of the world. Everything you touch, it explodes. Everything you want, it explodes as a group. And in 2006, you guys started retiring. You started retiring at 60 at a rate of 10,000 a day. And you were surveyed January 1 of 2006. There was a survey done, and here's what was asked. Now that you're turning 60, baby boomers, now that you're starting to retire, what do you want to do as a group? Where do you want to spend your time and your money? And 95% of you gave the exact same answer, and the answer was travel. So let me ask you something. You think any of those guys want to go on a $69 cruise? You think they want to go to Jamaica for free? You think they want to go to Alaska and sit on a glacier? There you go. And now, and that's all good, and here's the other group of people that are blowing this thing up. It's a group called the millennials, the young people. And why are they blowing up? Because, guys, they bought into the same thing we bought into. And I'm not here to trash jobs. I'm not here to do that. I'm just saying it's not working right now. Go to school. Get a good education. I'm all for education. So you can get a good job. How's that going right now? So you can make a good income and retire around 65 or 70. Just not working. Kids are getting out. They aren't finding jobs. They got a 14% chance to find a job in their field of degree. 87% of them are living back home with mom and dad since 2006. So they're getting out. They're seeing this thing called WorldVentures. It's travel. I can make money. They're blowing it up. Some of our top income earners are 21, 22, 23. You just saw a guy showed at the very beginning sitting in Rome, 24 years old, top level in this company, Lorenzo Roval. They're blowing it up. And here's why I tell you all that. That's all great info, but it doesn't make a hill of beans if you can't take advantage of it. Therein lies the company called WorldVentures. See, they set you up in a home-based business for little to no overhead. And they put you in the largest industry in the world, and here's what they say. We'll take care of the travel. That's our expertise. You guys take care of going on the travel, having fun, and telling people about it. That's our agreement with them. They take care of everything else. We come in, we go on the vacations, we tell people about it. We are the marketing piece. So here's the thing. This is how you're sitting there saying, okay, Troy, shut up. Just tell me how the bottom line. Here's the bottom line. See, a lot of you want to know how to get rid of your monthly fees. Here's how you do it. You refer 4 people to this program, and we waive your fees. Get 4, pay no more. That's how you get rid of those. Again, if you don't get rid of them, what's the worst thing can happen? You don't get rid of them, remember, the pig's going to take you on vacation with that money you're putting in there anyway. So you really can't lose with this deal. Now, here's one other thing. We have another program that we started about a year and a half ago, and it's a BMW program. Here's how it works. You create $5,000 of volume a month with your business, and we're going to pay, WorldVentures will pay for a BMW for you, $600 a month towards a silver BMW. Again, how do you create $5,000? Well, today, if you're starting brand new, you could go sponsor 20 people yourself, you qualify for the BMW. Or you could get your 4 and help those 4 get 4, you qualify for the BMW. A combination thereof of 20 sales somehow. That's how you get it. And you're saying, are people really getting it? Yes, all over. Here's some of my friends when they announced it. This is my friend Buddy and Debbie Edge, are over to the right there. 63, 64, 65 years old, retired school teachers, 30 years apiece. When they retired, here's what happened to them. They got a gift certificate for $50 and a plaque that said thank you. Today, they're making way more than their pension is that it took them 60 years combined to get, and they drive 2 of those silver BMWs. If you don't think, and here's the other thing, if you don't think people are scared right now, think about it. Today, one of the biggest things on the news tonight is Detroit. The city of Detroit filed for bankruptcy. What's that mean? Pensions are in trouble. Things are in trouble. You heard anybody lost their pension? Guys, these guys went through it. They got out, and they realized something. They taught for 60 years, and they realized they couldn't live on 40% of what they were used to living on. They got in WorldVentures. Life is a lot different. Well, you're saying, okay, old people can do it. What about young people? Here's my friend Travis Littlejohn, 23 years old from North Carolina. This guy worked at Krispy Kreme. Do you think anybody else that was working at Krispy Kreme with that guy drove up in a silver BMW? He now drives a silver BMW. He doesn't work at Krispy Kreme anymore. He's young, 23, but not as young as my friend Lauren. This is my friend Lauren, who lives right here in Oklahoma area. She goes to Oklahoma State University. She's 19. She's now 20. 19 in this picture, and retired from having to have a job because she's hit a level where the average income is right around $60,000, and she drives that BMW the company pays $600 a month for. What about people my age in their 40s? Here's my friend Keith Vaughn. He's a business owner with 800 employees, and here's my point with this picture. Keith could buy his own silver BMW. I know he does well. But do you think Keith is pretty excited about the company paying for a BMW there for him? That's a great picture. Here's Keith standing by his BMW. Here's my friends Van and Kayla. They just had their second baby. Well, they had some complications in the hospital. Residual income kept coming in. Their BMW being paid for. That's living. That's make a living. Here's my friends Rusty and Lou, a fire chief. There's Rusty and his wife Lou. Here's my friend Jonathan. Jonathan's a pastor. Fell on some hard times. Now he's doing unbelievably well with WorldVentures. Here's a single gal in my group, Laura, with her BMW. I'm telling you, we got all kinds. Here's a college student, chiropractic student, David, with his BMW, doing unbelievable. Here's a single gal from south side of Chicago, Sandora, BMW, not working anymore. Here's a doctor friend of mine with his BMW. Anybody can do it, even doctors. Here's another doctor friend of mine from Oklahoma here with their BMW. Here's the #1 income earner in the Southeast. Her name's Bethany. Bethany was a nurse, had a photography business, had a 2-year-old son when I met her 5 years ago, could not pay her electric bill. Today, she lives in that cabin in the Smoky Mountain, 6-bed, 6-bath, drives that car, travels the world, teaching people to be financially free and have fun doing it. It's unbelievable. How about new people? It's my buddy Kevin. Kevin got in, went to a training 2 days later. 6 days after that, he had that BMW in his driveway. I had a 21-year-old in England in my team last month that got the BMW in 3 days. It's happening. So here's the bottom line. What's it cost? $200 for the travel piece, $100 for the business. That'd be $300. Your first month would be $65, so it's $365 all in. Let me ask you a question. Is that less than your phone? Less than my phone. And if you're 18 to 25, it's not going to be $365. If you're 18 to 25, we'll let you in for $286. You get the same stuff. Okay? So here's what I'm going to say to you. If you listen to this for the first time, here's the way I looked at it. I can't get a hit if I don't swing the bat. It's time to swing the bat. For $365 or $286, swing the bat, because the worst thing that happens to you, you get in this thing and you do nothing, but the pig's still going to take you on vacation. It costs you really nothing to do this deal. And I'm going to tell you this. What if you get in and you don't do it? What are you out? What's the downside? You get to go on vacation. But what if you see this thing, you don't get involved, and what if it does work the way I'm saying? Which, again, guys, we haven't fooled thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of people at this point. This thing's hot. It's happening. It's just getting better and better. Here's what I'll say. Whoever invited you to come look at this, jump on board with them. Swing the bat. Come have some fun with us. Go on a trip. See if this thing works. And what if? What if we create a secondary income for you too? What if we do that? And I'll just say this team that you're in with, I've met a lot of them now. You're talking about quality individuals. They're going to get it done, and here's what I would say to you. They're going to do it with or without you. Why not with you? That's the way I look at it. What's the downside? What's the upside? They're doing it with or without you. Why not with you? And I just appreciate the opportunity of being here, and I hope to meet every one of you real soon somewhere on the beach of the world. Talk to you guys later.